What's up, everyone? Welcome to Play Hard and Love Big Radio. My name is Nick Clark, and I'm your host for today's show. We have an awesome guest with us, Tyler Sickler, and we're going to be talking a little bit about his life journey, but also we're going to be talking with Tyler today about his upcoming trip to the U.S. Olympic Trials in Orlando, which is super exciting. And I'm just excited to have you on the show. From the moment I first saw your Instagram profile, to the time that I saw you that you're moving to Folsom, and then heard you're interested in yoga, I'm like, dude, this guy's got to be on our show, man. So welcome, Tyler. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, Nick. I'm super stoked. And yeah, to tell you the truth, yoga has always been something that I wanted to get into, and it's just with how taxing and how cumbersome like marathon training has been, and then being a teacher, it's just like, okay, I really want to do this thing, but I just don't have the time. But I really want to learn about it, and so when you reached out, I'm like, huh, okay, well there you go. There's a way to really get into this stuff. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, totally, man. Well, one of the things that you expressed interest in talking about a little bit today is the importance of taking rest. So I definitely want to hit on that a little bit later. But let's start first with, who are you? Where'd you come from? Like,
Yeah.
where were you born, and what's your journey been like to this point where you are now?
Yeah, so I grew up. I was born in, well, I was born in Fairfield, California. Moved to Vacaville. Grew up there. Went to Wilsey Wood High School. Graduated there. Then moved to Sacramento State, where I ran cross country and track. And then graduated there and joined the SRA Elite, or Sacramento Running Association, who are the pretty much the organization that puts on CIM every year, if you're familiar. And I've pretty much been running for them since. And then just, yeah, I've just kind of been bouncing around, Reno, Flagstaff, back to Reno, just, yeah, kind of all over the place. But yeah, now I'm back in Folsom and loving it.
And so, how did you end up getting into running? Is it something you've done since you were a young guy?
Funny enough, it just kind of happened. Growing up, I did the baseball, the football, basketball. I tried all the things. We would do snowboarding in the winter, then wakeboarding during the summer. So very active as a child, but running was kind of like, if I remember correctly, it was in middle school. I remember trying out for flag football and realizing that, okay, I'm not big enough to do football. All right, got it. And then I had some friends that were on the cross country team at my middle school at Vacapina in Vacaville. And then, like, I don't know, I guess just from the first few races without much training, I was doing pretty well. And then, it was one of those things. It's like, we like the things that we're good at. So I was naturally good at running. And then I was like, I want to put more into this and see where it goes. And one thing led to the other. And then, but really, I actually had my biggest jump was in high school with my coach, Shane Inman, who coaches me now. So we actually, after high school, we actually became good friends. We stayed in contact. He'd kind of see my college races, and so like mentor, coach / friend. Just meeting this awesome person that showed me running and really how to get into it and how to obviously be a good endurance runner. So yeah, I guess just pretty much the right people around me, showing me running that could be an awesome thing. So two things: being pretty good at it and just having people that loved it around me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we can be good at something, but then I think until we find somebody who's a mentor or coach, or
Yeah,
even someone who else is doing it with us, I don't think that the discipline to be great at something is created really until that point. You know what I mean? At least in my experience of athletics, it's like, wow. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, wow, I'm an athlete. Like, I do yoga all the time now, but I'm a big time athlete, and I learned that from all of my experiences up to this point. And a big part of that is from mentors.
Yeah. No,
You know,
I agree. I mean, funny enough, it's like I noticed that at my college, after a bunch of my best friends were actually my teammates at Sac State, and a lot of the other athletes on the team, once they quit the team, they just dropped running completely. And my thought, at least with some of them, it's that there's no one yelling at you to go run 6 miles or go run 8 miles, and that kind of fame you get with being good at something, it's not really there. So then it really comes down to, hey, do you enjoy doing this thing? So I do have some friends that still run, and I think for those friends, it's like they genuinely enjoy running and the benefits of running. And um, I count myself one of those people. I've really loved where running's taken me. I've gotten to travel. I've gotten to meet new people. I think the running community is a very supportive and friendly group. So, I count myself pretty lucky to kind of fall into running and, meet all these great people that are, I consider friends now. So,
Yeah, that's awesome,
yeah.
Tyler. I mean, I love what you're saying here. It's true. It's like if you don't have a passion for something, you're gonna probably end
Yeah,
up quitting,
it's
right?
tough. It's tough. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
and everybody's personality is a little bit different too. Some people are like more driven and just they stay with stuff when it gets challenging. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah,
about that? Like, I'm sure you've
yeah,
been through some challenging aspects of your running career, and you're constantly pushing yourself to improve, and but at the same time, you're like you love the sport. So how do you
mm,
find a balance between like really loving the sport and like overdoing it, and like
yeah.
how do you keep going when
Well,
it gets tough?
yeah, I would definitely say, like, early in the sport, especially in high school. I mean, I'm almost kind of jealous of my like past self, because I'm like, gosh, that guy was just a real go getter. Like nothing could stop that guy. He could be hailing outside and he's gonna go run 10 miles. And now I'm kind of like, let's stay inside. I need a rest day. But I think what it is, I think as you're, at least for me, being in the sport, you because I think we were talking, before the show, just, we're go getters. It just comes natural to us to just go, 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 and always, not be afraid of hard work. But there also has to be the space for relaxing. And I would definitely say that one of the things that has been something that I have to acknowledge and think about constantly is like just slowing down and giving myself that time to recharge. Because I mean, yeah, with some of the training that I did, I got up to 140 miles in a single week, which was about 20 miles a day. So 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, some weight sessions in the middle of the day. I mean, it was just this period of time was completely devoted to just chasing that full potential, like just finding out, and um, I just, it was just go, go, go all the time. So I had to learn to stop, eat a good meal, get 8 hours of sleep, because it's like, if you don't, you can't do the training. So it really comes down to, how are you treating yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? You're not going to be able to do these things, because for myself, and, probably for yourself too, we like checking those boxes, and we like setting goals and doing whatever it takes to get those goals. But it's as hard as it is, you just have to, sometimes you have to slow down, again, eat a good meal and get those 8 hours of sleep, so that your body can regenerate, and then you can go chase those goals. So learning that the hard way of overextending, not eating enough, not sleeping enough, I mean, it's just, yeah, for myself, I had to learn the hard way to kind of buy in, like, okay, I have to slow down.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, did you experience injuries from when you say learning the hard way? What is it that you experienced when you were overworking yourself?
Yeah, I mean, just so this whole year, I mean, I put in, two really solid marathon blocks. So 10 weeks of just, high mileage every single day, no breaks.
Mm.
But with marathon training, it's like your hips are tight, your IT bands are tight. I mean, you're just, beat up. Every few days, there's a new injury. Sometimes. But there are other things that I was doing. I was doing band work. I was doing pre-run drills. I would do this lunge matrix before every single run. I would do the run, and then I would have these post-run drills that I did after every single run, because my coach was like, okay, if you only do these drills sometimes, well, sometimes you're going to get injured. So it was just kind of like, okay, so I do the drills. Got it. Okay. I don't want to get injured. So yeah, learning the hard way was, there were times where, I was only giving myself 5.5 hours of sleep, or, staying up till 2, I don't know, busying myself because I just want to get the most out of a day. I want to, order these things, set this up. I don't know. I would just busy myself to the point where I look at my watch and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 2 a.m. I got to get to bed, which is crazy. But yeah, it's just, making good habits and just sticking to them. So for me, like making a schedule, I had to really just give myself a daily schedule and
Mhm.
just follow it, because if I didn't, I'd have those 2 a.m. nights where I'm trying to cram stuff, and I'm like, okay, this isn't working. I just have to sit down, make a schedule, and just stick to it, get that sleep, have that time to eat a meal. And so, yeah, for me, I had to make a schedule
That's
to
huge.
really
That's
figure it
huge,
out.
man. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's so huge for people. Like, I mean, in the yoga industry specifically, and I know it's the same for any kind of a workout, but people get into a rhythm and
Yeah.
then they keep coming and they keep coming because they stay in that rhythm. But one of the
Yeah.
hardest things for them to do is to create a rhythm and to
Yeah.
create a schedule, so that they can get into a rhythm and get consistent and get the main benefits of it. You know what I mean? And what I like that
Yeah.
you're saying, it's been beneficial for me too, is put it in my schedule. And I'm like you,
Yep.
man. I got to put it in my schedule to go to
Yeah.
bed at 11 o'clock at night, dude. I got to have my phone buzz me, because
That's
otherwise I'm
right.
like, oh, I'm just like up late. And then the
Yeah.
next morning I feel like crap. And then everybody else around me feels it. And it's like, no,
That's
it's not
right.
how I want to be.
Yep. That's
Um,
right. Yeah.
so, dude, schedule. Everybody take Tyler and Nick's word for it. Put your workout in your schedule. Put your sleep schedule in your schedule. Take care of yourself, man. That's
Which
big
I
time.
have an app. Do you mind if I'm going to check my phone and see what it's called? But there's this app that I've been using, and
Yeah.
I have an iPhone. I don't know if Android has it, but there's this app called, let's see if I can find it. I think it's called like Time Block. Let me see. Yeah, it's called Time Block. It's like this purpley app, but it's
Did you say
awesome.
purpley? Like a purpley app?
Purpley. Yeah, I said purpley. Yeah. I don't know if
I,
that's the word.
I
It's
think it
a hue
is.
of purple. It's a hue of purple. Um, but no, it is awesome. It gives you reminders, and right when you unlock your phone, you can make it so that you see like the next two things you have on your schedule and how much time you give yourself. So, and I'm on it, because if I don't, I'll procrastinate. I'll find other side tasks that probably are very low on the priority scale. So it's awesome. So really, it kind of feeds into my, like, I want to like check the boxes. I love checking boxes. That's just kind of my personality. So
Yeah.
it allows me to check those boxes and stay on task. And again, I cut out time to make sure I sit down and have a good meal, get those calories in, and
Yeah.
then get to bed by time, by, yeah, 11 o'clock or so.
Well, and you're checking the boxes on things that are like really good for you, that help you
Yeah.
become more efficient as a human being. I mean, obviously you're an amazing athlete, but you are a teacher. You
Hmm.
teach at Bella Vista
Yeah.
High.
Bella
Let's
Vista
talk a little.
High.
Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
like it improves your efficiency as a person, because I think that
Hmm.
what people a lot of times what people do, especially with the in the age of scrolling, as I call it, is like
Oh
our
yeah.
life just goes by us and we don't spend our time on the things that really enrich us and fill us up, and we just like
Yeah.
waste all this time. That's the thing you can't get back, man. You can't
Yep.
get time back.
And I've done that. A few days ago, I did that. I did the scrolling thing, and then I'm sharing funny videos with my friends, and it's just like, okay, this is silly. This is, yeah, we give them some laughs, but that was a half hour of maybe some lesson planning I should be doing. So
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it either. Like some scrolling now and then is a good thing.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
because I do that too, and anybody does in this day and age, because there's some funny stuff. And I
There's some
love it
funny
when my
stuff. You
friends
need that
tell.
little
Yeah.
dopamine bump, just the
Yeah.
little laughs, like, oh man, that's good. Yeah, good stuff. And give them a little heart emoji, or whatever, like, good stuff, man. That was funny.
Yeah, good. Let me give you the
I love
LOL
it.
on that. Or like, why did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
send me that? Well, that was weird. Where did that come
yeah.
from?
It's like, did you mean to send that to me? Like that's kind of
Are
yeah,
you trying to say something about me? That is this some
yeah,
kind of like secret way of you trying to tell me something about myself? What is this?
yeah. You're gonna mess my algorithm up. Now I'm gonna get some weird stuff on my feed. Because
Oh,
how it
dude, I
all works.
got. Can I tell you a funny story about the algorithm, and then
Yeah,
we can get back to more serious, I guess, more serious talk. But
sure,
so, my wife Katie, she's like, you're thinning up top. You can kind of see up here, like I'm thinning a little bit.
sure. Yeah,
I swear it's just because my hair's not as long as it used to be, but
yeah,
whatever. Anyway, so I go online and I'm like looking up products to grow hair back. Right. Well,
yeah.
there's this product that comes up. It's called Hims,
I've seen that.
and
It's all
it's
over Instagram. I've seen that.
it's
Yeah.
like it's all about like getting spiking the testosterone, which there's a lot more natural ways to do it. But anyway, the
Mhm.
funny thing about it is, in regards to what we're talking about, is like after I looked at that product one time, all of a sudden my Instagram
Yeah,
algorithm, like there's these ones, I don't know if you've seen these ones, but there's like a girl in the background, she's like stretching in the bedroom, and then
yeah.
it says the what your wife acts like when she finds out that you just ordered Hims, and I'm like,
Oh
what?
man, I know. I've seen those too. So it's yeah. I'm like, who are you trying to sell? Like, it's yeah. They have hair products, and then they have like yeah, like for like sexual like arousement stuff. Like they got everything. I don't know. I don't know where this company came out of, but it's all over Instagram. I see it all the time, and I don't know. Maybe they're trying to tell me something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like hair loss and erectile dysfunction, I guess, go hand in hand. But kind of funny.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
So wait, but we can talk about stem cell now because
Sure.
you got your master's in, I don't want to butcher it, but in
Sure.
stem cell research. Is that correct?
So yeah, so I got my master's in biological sciences. I had my undergrad in bio as well, but has an emphasis in stem cell research. So the whole program was all about you get to work in this stem cell research facility, do your research, present it to UC Davis and Sacramento State faculty, and you get to write this long you get to write this long thesis and defend it, and but no, it was cool. Like it was like an 8 month long uh, internship. I worked with this group. The principal investigator was Dr. Ajun Wang, and then Dr. Farmer, which Dr. Farmer, she's actually a surgeon. I think she's a pediatric surgeon. I can't remember, but I know she's a surgeon. But I mean, this is a scientist who ends up like you see her in magazines if you go to Rayleigh's, like big
Wow.
name scientists. So their group is, I think they're in human trials with the research that I kind of helped with. But basically, it's all about spina bifida. If you ever heard of that disease,
Mm-hmm.
essentially the during uh, during pregnancy, the baby's spinal cord does not fully like form. There's like kind of like an opening, and basically through pregnancy, the surrounding amniotic fluid comes in and essentially like starts kind of killing off all those neurons on the spinal cord. So
Hmm.
what they're doing in this lab is they're taking these 3D printed patches, loading up with stem cells to neuroprotect the spinal cord, and then the surgeons will then like close up all the tissues so that there's no open spinal cord that's just being exposed, and they're getting results. They're getting insane results with their research. So now they're doing human trials right now, and I'm sure probably the next few years it'll be the gold standard for treatment. Because right now I think they just go in there surgically and just kind of close things up, and it's had good results, but it's also very it's also very sketchy, because you're literally going into a pregnant woman, going to the baby, and then closing up the back of the baby, and then closing everything else up. Like
Wow.
it's a lot. But adding in the stem cells, it's supposed to protect those neurons on the spinal cord from
Man.
getting damaged. So I helped like a little cookie crumb of that research while I was there for 8 months. So, but cool
Well,
experience. But kind of learned shortly after that lab work wasn't really my cup of tea. So, and then so yeah. Which funny story, at Bella Vista, I was volunteer coaching during grad school. I don't know how I found time, but I guess I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to help coach the cross country team there. So I would literally go into the lab in the morning and then come back around like 2:30. I would eat and then go straight up to Bella Vista to make practice. And what I learned was I loved coaching, and it was a good group of kids. The program was ran really well. The coaches there were awesome, very knowledgeable. And then I kind of was thinking, hey, teaching might be, it's adjacent to coaching. So, and I had some friends already teaching as well. I have a friend named Sammy Schuer that works at Folsom High School, and he's a math teacher there. He's been teaching for 5 years now. And yeah, he kind of encouraged me like, hey, why don't you just go try teaching out? And so as soon as I graduated from Sac State, I had like a week of summer, moved up to Reno where they had a 1-year accelerated program because I just wanted to get it done. I was done with school. I'm like, I don't want to do any more school. Let's just get this thing done.
Let's go.
And
Let me
then,
check this list. Check this
yeah,
off the list,
really, yeah,
right?
I want to check those boxes, right?
Let's go, man.
And then, yeah, then I moved to Arizona in Flagstaff, lived in Flagstaff for a bit, taught there at a high school named Coconino in Flagstaff, and then moved back here. That would have been December of 2022. And yeah, that's kind of what started the whole road to OTQ training cycle that pretty much running and training full time to try to hit this goal.
Yeah, and you said you've done this last year. You've done 3 marathon training blocks. Is that what
Pretty
you
much,
call
yeah.
them?
2
Yeah,
very intense ones, and then this
yeah.
last one was kind of like, let's just keep Tyler's body together so that he can actually run a marathon. The first 2 were more intense. The second one was probably the most intense because that was before I flew out to New York for like pretty much like my last chance to really do this. And so it was like, okay, like no stones left unturned. I'm going to do all the things and read all the books and get all the sleep and eat all the calories. Like I'm just going to do what I have to do to, find out if I can do this or not.
And it paid off. And
Yeah.
what did you end up running for your
So
marathon?
yeah, so at the McCurdy Micro Marathon in New York, so that was October 2022. This was my last chance or last dance race, and I ended up running 2:16:57, which is about 5:13 per mile.
And is that the
So
fastest marathon you've ever run?
yeah, that's my PR
Yeah.
marathon up to date. Yeah.
Oh
So
man, what was that race like? Like
oh, it was
from
epic.
start to finish, what was
Yeah.
it like?
It was epic. It was, perfect weather. It was about 49 degrees. Showing up, it was pitch dark. Everyone had flashlights. When we picked up our bibs the day before, they actually handed us flashlights so that we could kind of do our warm up and jog in like pitch black around this little lake. So the course was literally just a series of 3-mile loops. And and I believe so like they're like 8 or so loops or 8.5, and it's just around and around. But honestly, I liked it. I didn't think I was, because I'm like, man, this is gonna get boring. But I knew exactly where I was, how much further I needed to go, where the bottles were. So every loop, they had a water station where they had like this long stretch of tables, and everyone had like a position of where their bottle was. So you get to this spot and then you're looking for your number. I think I was like 15. I'd find 15 and then just like kind of do like a little drive by, grab the bottle and get down as much of it as you can, and then just toss it to the side and keep going. And so it was just, it was kind of fun. But what made this race great too was that there were also 2 pacers pacing the OTQ pace. But fortunately, they were actually pacing a little bit ahead of the OTQ pace, and then they peeled off at mile 18. And then at that point, I think it was like me and like 2 other guys. We just like had this like surge of adrenaline, and we dropped. I think it was like a 5 or 4:57 mile or something crazy. It was just like, okay, whoa, slow down, bud. But it was just kind of just excitement, because going that far, being on pace, you only have 8 miles left. Like you're just so it was epic. But honestly, to tell you the truth, going through that race, and I think this is true for all marathons, like you're riding this wave of feeling really good, feeling confident, and then kind of feeling bad, like, ooh, I'm feeling tired. I kind of skipped my foot. I'm not picking up my knees, or I feel like crap. What the heck's going on? And then, you get some more calories and some more fluids, and then you're feeling up again, and then you start feeling crappy again, and it's just this. But you kind of just have to have that hope, like, okay, I'm just riding waves. I'm gonna be okay. End of the day, like I'm not gonna just, I'm not gonna bonk and just, hit that brick wall that they always put up at mile 20 at CIM.
Yeah.
Um, but it's no, it was honestly, it was the perfect race. I think I didn't go out too fast. I was hitting pace. The pacers were a lot of help there. Got all my bottles, all my nutrition. The weather was great. I had my dad there, and then one of my best friends, Ryan Salcido, he was there, and I just felt it, like at the starting line. Like there were no nerves. I just, for whatever reason, because I don't know, I get nervous before races too, but for whatever reason before that race, and I think it was because with the training that I did, I'm like, I literally did everything I could possibly do. There was no, like I said, no stone unturned. Like I did everything, and I've proved to myself that I'm fit. I've done these workouts. I've come a long way, and so really I was just kind of like, at the line, just frothing out of the mouth, like, let's go. I am so ready for this. Like I am ready. Like let's go.
Yeah.
So it was just
No, that's
awesome.
rad, man. That's rad. Like I
Yeah.
mean, you prepared so much that your training became you, it seems like,
Yeah. Yeah, for a
like
bit.
you just like this, like a different level of confidence and
Yeah.
faith in
Yeah.
yourself and what's possible, right? It seems like you just like stepped into it and just made it happen.
Yeah. You kind of, through the training, it's like you have to kind of become this person that can do this thing. Like, okay, what kind of person can do this goal? Okay, I need to become that person. What is that person doing? I can't remember who said this. This was some quote, but it's like, it might have been Tony Robbins. I don't know, but he said something like, if you want to, if you have this goal in mind, go find someone that completed that goal, and then whatever they're doing, do what they did. And so, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, that's what I need to do. I need to change, not like completely just rip out, Tyler and just put in a different code and be someone like totally different, but just little things like, okay, I need to create these systems so that I can get the training in, take care of myself, and complete these goals. And so it's just a series of good habits. Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you've ever heard that book, solid book. I would totally read that book. I listened to it on audiobook when I was doing my training, and I just soaked up so much. Like that made a huge difference. That was one book that I was like, this is a game changer. Getting all this stuff down, like the systems, getting your systems right so that you can achieve those goals. Was
Yeah.
something we taught.
Dude, that's so cool. I love, like when I read Atomic Habits, I still have it and I should read it again because I know
Yeah.
anytime I read a book, no matter where, if it's a really good book,
Yeah.
no matter where it is in my life and no matter what it is I'm working on in my life, it applies to it. And that book was the
Yeah.
same. When we through COVID and whatnot had to
Mm.
rebuild our business and rebuild our clientele.
Yeah, I
And so
bet.
my dad sent me the book, Atomic Habits. He's like,
Hmm.
read this. So I read through it and then right away, what you're saying, the importance of systems.
Yeah.
Systems, for you, you're speaking like on an individual and you're running in your systems and the patterns and the habits that you do on the daily. And for all of you that are listening, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, right? Your personal habits and the systems that you have the small steps that you take every day are going to take you to where you want to go long term, right?
Yeah.
But then the way that I read it with the business was like, okay, where is it that there's systems that aren't working? Where is it that we can put in systems that would make us more efficient, that would help us get this product out to more people so that
Yeah.
we could attract people to us in a way where we can actually make a bigger impact in their life. So yeah, that book made a huge difference, man. But I
Yeah.
do love what you're talking about like the habits and the systems that
Yeah.
you've got to do every day if you really want to make it happen, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because and this is like, I don't know. I guess my Instagram feed is literally just like very like broy and like motivational stuff. I don't know. That's my algorithm, I guess. But like
Broy and inspirational.
broy and inspirational. I don't know. But there was like one thing. It's
Yeah.
like there's it might have been Muhammad Ali who said this, but it was something of um, either you can. Maybe it wasn't Muhammad Ali. It doesn't matter. But it was something like if you can either not put in the work now, and then later in life likely face regret. Well, facing that regret down the line later in life, that's actually a bigger bill than putting in work right now. So it's like, I'm totally butchering that. Whoever said it, I think it is Muhammad Ali, but look it up. But don't be afraid to put in the work, and just, it's okay to go for it, because I think it's hard to step out of your day-to-day life. Like being a teacher, yeah, it's like most of the time I'm thinking about, crap, I got to do this, and crap, I got to go make copies and lesson plan, and I got to email this kid's mom because whatever. It's like nonstop, and it's almost like I really just have to close that part of me, as a teacher, set it aside, and then open up the running stuff, or just the other stuff. Like running, my life can't just be running and teaching. Like there's so much more I want to do. But if my systems aren't right, if I'm just like, if with that free time, if I'm just doing the endless scrolling, I mean, I'm throwing away that opportunity to do yoga, for example. Like something I really want to do. But yeah, we'll get there, but you got to go for it. You just got to go for it.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Yeah.
Well, I like, I think about people who are listening right now that are inspired by you, and, maybe won't go out and run a marathon and try and qualify for the Olympic trials and whatnot, but do have families and jobs, and they want to take care of themselves, and there's a whole lot on their plate. Like that's how I feel sometimes. Like, man, I got a shitload of stuff on my plate, just like you. It's like, so and just in recap to where we are right now in this podcast, right, is like create systems, put it in your calendar, do the things that really enrich you, minimize the things that don't light you up, maybe like, or get rid, step away from those people that don't light you up, that don't lift you up, like, and start, doing those little things and putting your attention on little things every day, but really sticking to those things and having faith and belief of where it could take you in the future is super important. I mean, up to this point, I'm really getting that from this, from this conversation. And also, Tyler, I'm getting from this, like, that importance of taking some time to rest, man.
Yeah, really.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, you got this ingrained in you. You're getting ready for, is it Feb 4? Is that when
February 3rd? It's on a Saturday.
February 3rd. We're going to be rooting for you, man, in Orlando for the Olympic trials, for the U.S. Olympic trials, man. So in regards to that, what are you changing in your systems? Are you changing anything? Are you creating more time for rest? What are you doing differently to prepare for that? I know it's like right around the corner. So how are you getting your mind and body ready?
Yeah, well, I mean, each of these marathon blocks that I've done, so this is my third marathon block this year. Each one has been different. I've had other stuff going on in life, during each marathon block, and it's just, you kind of have to, it changes your training a little bit, because you have to be flexible. And now teaching full time, and I mean, my biggest challenge really with this third marathon block is just, my body's just like, it's just it's falling apart. It's just, this whole year I've never run this much in a single year. My first marathon was actually CIM. Not this last CIM, but the one before in 2022. That was my first marathon.
That was your first marathon. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So it was my first marathon. And so doing a full year of just, I mean, we're talking 120, 130, 140, and then really just kind of being in between 100 and 140 miles. I mean, that's, as you can imagine, it's a lot to put on your body. And even though I could be doing all the things right, going to see my physical therapist, once every 2 weeks, and then sometimes it was every week because I was just like, I got this thing, I need to get it fixed. And but no, this marathon block has just been, you know, just, I hate to say it, but like kind of like putting band-aids on. Uh, my psoas muscles have been incredibly tight. I mean, it's just like sleeping has been tough. Running obviously has been very challenging, and then I had this shin thing happen, and so it's just my training has my volume has gone way down. And then I'm taking a day or two off each week to kind of speed up that recovery, let my body catch up. And teaching, so new job, just started at Bella Vista this semester in January. So I'm teaching all day. I'm on my feet all day. I don't sit, because I know if I sit, those kids are just going to go crazy. So I got to stand the whole time. And so I, at the end of the day, I sit down for like 15 minutes, eat some peanut butter pretzels, take a breather, get my shoes on, and then I got to do 8 miles or 10 miles and then go lesson plan later. It's so, I don't know. You kind of just have to do it. Sometimes you just kind of have to throw yourself out. You're not your best. Like, you feel awful, you feel tired, you just want to go home. But that's where you really do have to do that balance of like, can I actually do this? Or if I go out, am I going to get sick or injured? And I feel like I've been a lot more in tune with that. Like the other day, I was supposed to go out and run. It's kind of my thing. I run really late at night sometimes, but I was supposed to go out, do this crazy, 12-mile run, but I ended up cutting it short because I'm like, I feel kind of sick. The last few days, I've only gotten about 6 hours of sleep. Teaching's been kicking my butt. I really should just focus on getting sleep tonight and eating a good meal before bed, and not eating all this food and then going to bed. Like, you really shouldn't eat a large meal before bed. It's really not good for your gut. So yeah, again, choosing to take care of myself for later, not just, I gotta just push through and David Goggins this thing and just go out in the night in the cold, run 12 miles, even though my body's screaming at me. Yeah, it's a balance, like you said. You kind of just have to know yourself and know your body, that if you're running on the red, you gotta lay off, and it's worth it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I do that. I mean, I don't, you don't know my history. We haven't really talked about it a lot,
No,
but I
yeah,
did, I played soccer all the way through the end of college and a little bit
awesome.
professionally after that. But
Cool.
over that long period of time of just grinding and grinding and
Yeah,
grinding and pushing towards the next level, my body broke down, and ultimately
yeah,
I had injuries that pushed me into yoga, and then ultimately I got
get
into
that.
yoga, and now I do yoga all the time. But even though I've been teaching and practicing yoga for almost 15 years, and I think it
Mm.
took me like 10 years of doing the yoga practice to actually like experience what you're saying. Like, oh, listen to your body. Geez, Nick, you've been teaching these people this, and you've been hearing teachers speak to this and all
Yeah,
this for all this time. It's like, no, you got to listen to your body, man. You got to, if you're feeling sick and run down, it's
yeah,
not serving anybody. You know what I mean? It doesn't serve your kids, doesn't serve your wife, doesn't serve the community you're trying to serve, like
yeah, that's
all
a good
that.
point.
But it took me so long to understand that what it means to listen to your body. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, and I'm interested what you think, but I think a lot of people get so stuck up in their head, or their phone or what they're doing, that they don't have this intimate connection with their body, and
Mm.
they lose this sense of, I mean, the word really is like sense of intuition, or
Yeah.
possibility that's available to them by just listening to their body, their vehicle, the thing that keeps them here on the planet. Less that I am connected to my body, like the less I'm doing the physical things and whatnot, then and the more that I'm thinking and in my head, then the less I am able to listen to myself and take care of myself.
Well, I think it's almost like we kind of live outside of our bodies, and we just know that there's a lot of stuff to do. And at least for myself, it's like, if I'm not doing anything and I feel unproductive, then I mean, I feel that guilt. Like, man, why am I sitting here watching TV and like relaxing? I could be I could be on Duolingo learning Spanish, or I could be reading a book, or I could be lesson planning. Like there's stuff to be doing all the time, and I think my brain, it's so hard to slow down. I'm like outside of my body, and I'm just like, dude, you got to take care of yourself, and that's why I started becoming really interested in yoga, because I mean, with all this training and running, since I was in middle school, this little kid, I mean, my body is obviously, like, my body is geared towards running long distance. So, I mean, some muscles are used every day, others are not. My range of motion isn't, it's not there. I can barely touch my toes, because I'm constantly using my hamstrings. So,
Yeah.
there's range mobility I want to gain, but it's like, why is my gosh, like, I'm 28 and my back hurts and my knee hurts, and like like my pinky toe hurts. Why is my pinky toe hurt? So it's like, it's just, you know, I think yoga is something that you can, I mean, this is coming from someone that doesn't know anything about yoga, but just, I feel like it's something that can help me slow down. It's something healthy to do.
Dude, it's like you will really like it, and you'll like the style that we teach at Spotted Dog because
Yeah.
it's rigorous, and we
Yeah.
teach a specific um, flow with variation in it depending on who's in the room and what the teacher is teaching to, But the main focus, first and foremost, is to help people understand how to get into these poses in a way that's safe and anatomically correct.
Yeah.
But then once people do that and they get, into this alignment and they feel good in the poses, then we start speaking to things like your breathing, like focusing your eyes,
Yeah.
activating your hands and your feet, getting into the arches of your
Mm.
feet, lengthening your side bodies and creating space around your spine and different things
Yeah.
like that. So it turns from a place of where people just are learning the poses to a place where
Okay.
they're like starting to learn how to actually move their body in a way that impacts them in a positive way.
Mm.
And then like all sorts of really amazing things happen because
Yeah.
like you're saying, it's a meditation really,
Mm-hmm.
so when you start to focus on your breath and you start to be connected to your body, then you start to be present with people in life, and then you
Absolutely.
really
I can
can
see that.
you can make intuitive decisions much easier.
Yeah.
um, like I feel like when I first saw your profile, man, I was like intuitively, I was like, this guy's got good energy. I want this guy to
Oh
jump on
man,
our podcast, man. You have brought so much value to the show, and I'm just pumped that you took the time
that's
to do
awesome.
this, man.
Yeah, I worry. To tell you the truth, I worry sometimes with, because really the Instagram that I made has just kind of been to help document all this stuff, all of my
Sure.
training, and sometimes I look at it, I'm like, okay, I don't know. Hopefully, no one's like looking, like misinterpreting it, or just seeing like, well, this guy's full of himself, or it's like, like this guy with his running. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but I mean, I don't, because I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but this race is sort of it's kind of my last big thing with running. I'm actually going to slow down and kind of stop my competitive running, and just so I can, so I can slow down, so I can, do these other things that I want to do. And like yoga, I've always wanted to get into yoga, and I've wanted to get in the weight room, and just really just kind of be more well-rounded. Marathon training is just not sustainable. It's so crazy how we do this, um, you know, and all power to you guys. Like, these marathoners that are still out there. I mean, Eliud Kipchoge being 40 years old or 39 years old or whatever, and running under 2 hours or whatever, that's awesome. But it's so much time, and it's so cumbersome. And I'm just tired of telling friends that, oh, hey, sorry, man, I can't hang out tonight because I got to go run 20 miles tomorrow. And then it sucks. It sucks having to just leave and go on Christmas. On Christmas Eve, I had to go out. Well, I didn't have to, just procrastinated, and yeah, spending time with family. But I went out and ran 18 miles at like 10:30 at night, and got home at almost midnight. And I'm like, what am I doing? It's Christmas Eve, and I'm doing this. So, I don't know. At least for me, I just kind of feel like this would be a kind of this was like a really good goal to chase, and be able to kind of tie that bow to, close the chapter and go to the next one, kind of thing.
That's so awesome, man. I love
Yeah.
it. It's like
Yeah.
this is in the realm of habits, and probably I'll butcher this quote.
It's
You and
okay.
I are good at
I've been
butchering
doing
quotes,
that. Yeah,
right?
I've been doing this whole show. So
But it is along that line of like, because people have good habits and people have bad habits, but people, um, if you want to give, habits give you up, and when I say that habits give you up, it's like you put your intention or attention on what it is that you want to do. And if you take the small steps to create that for yourself, then whatever habits, good or bad, like life enriching, inspiring, amazing, like your marathon running, or like, people like smoking and drinking and the bad things that are like not helping them. If whatever habits you have, if you put your intention on something different, something new, and you work towards it, then you create the space for that. And I have a lot of admiration for you to saying like, yeah, I'm looking at my life. This is what I've been doing. It's been an amazing experience for me. And after this, I'm looking to put my intention and attention on something a little bit different so that you can live your life in a new way, and that's creating possibility for yourself, bro. I think that's so cool and amazing.
And I think getting there in part was really just kind of getting more in touch with myself, um, you know, with the marathon running and last year, I was seeing a therapist for a bit, and she actually became a really good friend. Um, but I don't know, have you ever heard of something called the Enneagram by chance?
I have not.
Okay. So before I say anything more, it's not like you open up a magazine, you can take a quiz, and it tells you what kind of, you're this kind of person, or this is your zodiac sign, whatever you believe. But it's a research-backed. It's like a Myers-Briggs test, but like there's just a little bit more research around it. And there's 9 personality tests, and I mean, just talking with you, I think we have seeing the similarity that we have. I scored as a 3, which is, I mean, the name sounds great, but there's obviously some things to it. But a 3 is the achiever, and while that sounds great, you also see the other side, like the dark side, the things you need to work on. And the thing with achievers, with 3s, is that they go 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 go. Their superpower might be that they can be efficient and do all these things. They set goals and they likely get them, and they're just really good at this. But they definitely are likely to kind of neglect, and not really be in touch with their true selves, because like I just mentioned earlier, in order to get to this goal of running at the Olympic trials, I had to become this person that could do that. So as a 3, it's like you're constantly putting on these different hats, shape shifting, in order to create these, or in order to accomplish these goals. When I was in my grad program, okay, like I had to put on the researcher hat. I had to be the very studious student in order to achieve and do that. It was very challenging. There are probably 3 times where I was like, I'm just going to quit. I can't do this anymore. I feel this imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be here. Like, this is grad school. I'm in this crazy research lab. It's too much. I can't do this. So this last year, I've really, I think the coolest thing, I mean, yes, it's very cool that I was able to qualify for the trials, but I mean, this was a big year in that I feel like I really gotten to know myself better and learn myself better, know my strengths and weaknesses, the dark areas that I wasn't aware of. Now I am, and I know how to work on those things, all because this therapist was like, yeah, there's this Enneagram thing here, check it out. And now I'm like all about it. My bookshelf is probably like 40% Enneagram, like just relationships, just all this stuff. It's all connected. Your friendships, with your friends, with your family, with spouse. um, it's awesome. It's a great tool, and that's kind of how I see it. It's a great tool for understanding yourself, bettering your relationships. um, so it's, yeah, little plug for the Enneagram, if you're familiar with it. But check it out. It's definitely helped me, and I think it really has helped me with my training. Because I mean, knowing yourself and not knowing yourself, I mean, being more in touch with your feelings, I think that is a performance enhancer. I mean, I think if you know what you want and you know how to get it, yeah, you just know yourself well enough to really go wholehearted into something because you know yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, I mean, call it what you want. I think it is a performance enhancement there, just like internally, knowing yourself. So check
Oh
it out.
man,
Yeah, check
big
it out, man.
time, big time performance enhancer to know
Yeah,
yourself. So many people
absolutely.
don't, yeah, I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I like about these podcasts, and I don't know how many episodes you've had a chance to listen to, if you've even had a chance to, but what's really neat is that, I always go into the conversation and have a general idea of what the show is going to be like. And then
Mm-hmm.
ultimately there's this level and layer of depth that comes from it that I wasn't expecting, like in a good, positive way. And
Yeah.
that's what I think is so wonderful about taking the time to have conversations with people like you, Tyler, is that it just opens up my mind.
Yeah.
And I know it opens up our listeners' minds to just seeing a different way, and knowing that there's more possible out there for them in life. And in
Absolutely.
regards to like your Instagram channel, when you were talking about how, I wonder if people think that I'm
Oh
just like
man. Yeah.
gloating or whatever. It's like, first of all,
Yeah.
I don't get that from you.
Okay.
Secondly,
Appreciate
I'm an
that.
achiever, dude, and so
Yeah.
I'm in the
Absolutely. Yeah. I see
same
it.
boat. I'm in the same boat as you, man. I'm like, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm just showing them how to do these awesome yoga poses because I'm
Yeah.
showing them how to do these yoga poses, right? Like, because I'm a badass. But you know why I'm doing it, and I
Yeah.
know why you're doing it down deep, because you're a good person. Is to inspire. I'm doing it to inspire people, to show people what's possible. Because so
That's
many
right.
people don't understand that there's more possible for them than where they are. A lot of people are really, really stuck in a place and they don't know how to pull themselves out of that rut. And I think
Yeah.
conversations like this really can help people, So,
Yeah. It's going back to
yeah,
just
man.
having the right people around you, right? Like having the friends that become mentors, or just the friend that's, introduces and encourages you to try running. And, I would have never found that if didn't have those good friends that, I mean, I think they joined cross country because there was a cute girl, on the team, but like still, like, I wouldn't have ever gotten into that if I wasn't like, okay, well, I guess I'll try this thing out. I'm probably not going to be good at it. I don't know. Like, I'll just try it.
Yeah.
You never know. And I tell my students that, especially because they're freshmen, I ask them like, who's doing an extracurricular activity, who's doing sports or band or theater, and only like 3 hands out of this class of 36 put their hands up. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to spend the next like 12 minutes telling you why you guys should be trying something. And, I talk a little bit about my running and how I got into it, but, I tell them like school can be a lot better if you have some reason to show up. Like, you guys are here, a lot of them are like, oh, because we have to be here. But it's like, well, you could have faked a stomach ache, or you could have not, you could have not shown up. But while you're here, you might as well, you have these doors that you can go knock on and see if they open up and you find something there, and it could be worthwhile. You could find, you know, like my best friends come from running. Like, my best friends were teammates of mine at Sac State, my coach, and honestly, like my only mentor that I've had this whole time, was my running coach. Um, it was through running. I met and gained all of these things, all these, beautifully positive things, was just through running. But it makes you think like maybe I shouldn't stop running. But I'm still going to run, but it's not going to be at that competitive level, because it's just, I know myself, and I feel like I know what I need. And it's not just, again, like David Goggins, just the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's like I need to feed the other, or water the other parts of my life. There's so much stuff you can do in this life. I'm 28. Hopefully there's still a lot of life left. So, um,
Dang right, man.
you
Well,
know,
you still got a full head of hair too, which is like
yeah,
you're working
that's
me.
my mom. That's my Hispanic side. Yeah, she's got
Yeah.
thick hair. My dad, yeah, he's blonde hair, blue eyes, but yeah, I don't have the blue eyes, but I have the thick hair, which I appreciate. So yeah,
Yeah,
for
you're
now,
lucky. You're
for
a lucky
now,
man.
I'm
Well,
okay
and
for that.
Yeah, of course, I want to be very respectful of your time, and I want to wrap it up. But I do
Yeah,
want to say this in regards to what it is that you're saying. I agree with you, and all the things that you've done up to this point, all the things I've done up to this point, they're ingrained in us.
yeah,
They're like those great habits, like getting up, running, doing all the different things. Like they're ingrained in us, and then what I've found is that they just carry on to the next thing,
they do.
and then we continue to have these building blocks to work on, um, to to improve and to see what's possible for us in life, and to
Mm.
expand our potential. And we have no control or understanding of how that's going to show up.
Yeah,
But those experiences, if you never put yourself out there, if you never, had tried running, if I had never
right.
put on my cleats, if we didn't have those people
Yeah,
that believed in us and
that's
walked
right.
us through, that were mentors, if we didn't have different things to push ourselves towards, ultimately, like we put ourselves in those situations by doing it, and if we hadn't have done that, it wouldn't have made us who we are, and so,
Yeah,
um, for people that are out there, thinking about doing something, stop thinking about it and just do it and
try
try
it.
it. Maybe you do
Yeah,
it one time and you're like, that's
yeah,
enough for me, or maybe you do it, you fall in love with it and you do it for
yeah,
10 years and then you're like, that's enough for me, like that's a part of
yeah.
your journey, right?
Well, because I think like starting something new, there's always that fear of failing, right? Like that's like kind of a core thing. Like, if I do it, I might not be good at it, and I don't know, it's
Sure.
just not going to be. It's going to be inconvenient, but I mean, I wasn't like the best. I wasn't really good at running. I mean, I didn't start really seeing that potential until I was late into high school, and that was because I had a couple years under my belt. And I think it's just a time thing. Find something you're passionate about, because I think when you're passionate about something, at least for me, it's like with those days where you really don't want to go out and do a run, you're like, oh, but then the passion shows up and it's like, I gotta do this though. Like I really like I gotta do this. Like I think that's where the passion comes in. So if you find something you're good at, or not good at, sorry, if you find something that you're passionate about, I think you can go the farthest in that thing, because again, when you're unmotivated or it's inconvenient, the passion shows up, and I think that just kind of raises the bar of like what you can actually accomplish in that thing. So follow what you're passionate about, I guess, is kind of like my last little nugget of wisdom that I've kind of that I've kind of come to find. And I tell my students the same thing, like just try it, try school out, just try it, and you might surprise yourself.
Exactly, man. Find what you're passionate about, and the way you find what you're passionate about is just throwing yourself all the way in there
That's
on
right.
everything that you want to try. And you'll
Yeah,
find it. Dude, Tyler
yeah,
Sickler, I speak on behalf of the Spotted Dog Yoga and Sup community and the Play Hard and Love Big Radio community. We'll be pulling for you and hoping that you have an amazing Olympic trials on the 4th of February. But even more so, we're really just glad to have you a part of our community and to learn
yeah.
from you and to experience you on this platform. So thank you very much for taking the time to be here, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, I look forward to trying out your studio. I'm so psyched. Like I said, I've always wanted to get into yoga and try it, and it seems like a really good supportive group. So, yeah, looking
Oh
forward to it.
man. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough about our teachers and our community
Yeah,
there. They're really amazing. It's an awesome tie-in to the everybody in the community. You'll meet and see so many people that you know and didn't know.
yeah,
So right on, we'll be pulling for that too. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to Play Hard and Love Big Radio, the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and Sup, based out of Folsom, California. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is dedicated to bringing you the inspiring people with the inspiring stories to help you connect to your center so that you live a more full and purposeful life. And Tyler Sickler, you have done that for us today, man. I'm so glad to be acquainted with you. And
likewise.
yeah, thank you so much for everyone for listening to our podcast. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. See you.
All right, see you guys.
Peace.